So I know some of you guys were getting thrown off by, first of all, the theta. So theta is the same thing as x. And this equation kind of looks worse than it is to begin with. So technically, this is the same thing as 3 times the secant of 1/3 x and then plus 2. So they wrote things a lot different in this case. So I don't know if that's part of what the issue was. So they put the 2 in the front, and some just like books or worksheets will do that, just like a notation thing. But 3 is still the amplitude. This is still my b, and then this is still what shifts it up to. So kind of noticing those few things. But we have to figure out the period, and that's 2 pi divided by 1/3. So actually multiply by 3, so this is going to be 6 pi is going to be the period. And remember, this is cosine. So we have to do 3 times the cosine, so we're going to make our cosine graph here. Well, I can't do dotted lines with this one. I guess I'll just do this one on different screen. So cosine, to begin with, should start at 3, end at 3, and then go down to 3 in the middle. But it's 6 pi, so this is the first one. However, this one needs to be shifted up 2. So then I go up 2 with this. So all of these points should go up 2. So there's our cosine graph. And then again, it should repeat, should be down at pi down here. So something like that. But then once you get done with that, that's just the cosine curve. And if you guys missed this part, secant is the reciprocal of cosine. So what we need to do is we need to draw basically like little parabolas on the top and the maximum and minimum points. Now, it does need to touch this top of this graph. So this is going to be, my first U is going to be up here, then down here, then up here. Now, if you're curious about the width of them, Eric and I were talking about this because it wasn't super clear, is the shifting, does that change it? It still would hit 0 at the same place. So like if you like to draw those asymptotes in, those dividing lines. But the red part is necessary, the main solid red points are necessary, so don't forget about those. Obviously you get some points for drawing a cosine graph in, but you wouldn't get all the points because of missing that like vital part of that secant. All right, our next one here.
Yes.
Okay. So now, this next one, this is telling us to shift 2 up, and then this is saying to the left, pi over 4. Now, cosecant goes with sine. So I'm going to graph sine first, but I'm going to do that shift. So I'm going to take my sine graph. So it's a normal 2 pi period. It goes up to 1, down to -1. So again, when I do this, I'll draw the original sine first in blue here. And kind of the better you can get at like those basic trig functions, it makes this so much easier. Like that I'm able to do that pretty quickly. And that's why we're practicing this and doing more and more problems. But now I have to take my graph and I'm going to shift it to the left pi over 4, which is 1 space, and then up 2. So there's my new point. So I'm having my new graph here. I missed something this one, right?
In and down over.
So there's my new curve. And again, it would keep repeating like this, and I have a hard time repeating my when I've shifted them, so just kind of watching out for
You're wrong, son.
Let's start it again.
we should go.
No.
Yes. All right. Okay. So then, from here, draw our U's on the top and the bottom. Again, it should touch that green line. So the asymptotes are what basically where it's not going to touch between there, but all these little separate U's then. And then our last one here that you guys had a question on, or that somebody did, was we have our cosecant, which again is going to be sine. This is the amplitude. And then this is shifting to the left, 3 pi over 2. Now this one's a little bit tricky because 3 pi over 2 is a big shift. And so it's way off my graph then, because 3 pi over 2 is basically like 6 spaces. So I drew my graph a little more completely to begin with and then kind of move things. So it's a normal period because the b value is 1. Oops, no, it goes up to 2, sorry. So this is my original sine graph. Those noises are supposed to be happening. They're doing something. We don't really know what, but they did. Yeah, they did not give me, like, they didn't ask my opinion before making whatever noises they're making up there. But I know. Yeah.
You must be mad at Santa or something. Sick boy.
Okay. So, all right. So now we have to take all these points and move them over 6 because 3 pi over 2 is 6 spaces. So I'm taking all of them and moving over 6. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So here is my new graph. So again, once I have that blue graph drawn in, then my final graph should be my red one, and I can't really do different like lighter colors with this one. And I do need that. Okay. Questions? Hopefully that helps a little bit. If you ever need, sometimes even redoing a similar worksheet, like doing the same thing again, like trying to do it over again, forcing yourself to work on it. If you want more questions like this, you can find more practice online as well. Like this is not something that I'm just making up, so this is something that plenty of people have done before. So there's lots out there. So don't hesitate to look for other resources or ask me for some. I can always get you guys more practice if needed, or if you need extra help. Stopping in during AR is good. All right, so I'll get you guys, this actually today is our last new type of graph we're learning. Then tomorrow we're gonna kind of put them in, make this even better, is put these in word problems.
Oh my God.
I
can't do this. He's trying
Hey, don't be a little
Yeah, that's very true. That's me.
Write it down. Write it down. That's good news.
That's a nice reference.
Sorry, my tongue is too tongue.
We're going to do one more with on your top.
No.
That's
back. They put you in his hand. Let me toss it right back.
And then right. Yeah, that's probably the second time. The first time was like what? The second time was fun. It's the same. Everybody said. Twice. Oh, shoot.
That's another pound.
Okay, guys. When you have a chance, if you guys could look at the warm-up questions there.
It's tangent.
Oh, she doesn't want to lose Blake. Is that who she had? All right, we have to, so the questions they had on their homework were 8, 6, and 7.
Yeah.
And then someone added.
For a good time call. 8, 6, 7, 5, 3, 0.
Never.
You've never? You've definitely heard of it back up.
It depends how much 80s music you're listening to.
I'm doing over there.
Speed dating.
Speed dating.
Having more fun than you guys.
Yeah, facts.
Can we have fun?
Yeah, that's facts. Can we
Yo.
join their class?
You wrote that and nobody laughed, or
No.
what happened?
Amy wrote. Amy came up and wrote the rest of it.
Oh, yeah.
And then I got it, but then the rest of them just didn't. So I had it.
I didn't even. Can we join your class for today?
I want to create a profile.
And then yesterday we were talking about palindromes. And then, do you want to see Carter's?
That's Carter's.
So I was giving them
Taco Cat race.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, fire truck.
We're like,
I was
oh,
like-
Carter, sweetie, honey.
That's his explanation.
There's speed in there. You know that is?
Okay,
Express.
so they're not really speed dating. They do like problems. And because they were saying that he's saying that Josie wants to stay anonymous in her speed dating relationship because she was with Blake. So she wanted to stay and not have to move away from him.
I wouldn't want to move away from Blake.
Yeah.
He's good at that.
Yeah. Take that out of context and it sounds.
I mean, 1 + 1 does equal 3.
That was a good one. I just took it.
Okay.
Oh, there's 8 total. In this class?
4 + 4 equals window. Or is that 1 + 1 equals window?
Gotta guess.
No, it's 1 + 1
Wait.
equals window.
There's not even. Is there even?
Plus 2 + 3, that equals 8.
I don't think they're all gone.
They are all.
I'm almost done. Draw your own tape.
Okay.
Oh, it's 42 + 0 equals 41.
All right.
I haven't been connected to our relationship part.
Well, I know I'm fine. I want to go home.
So, okay. So, a couple of things here. So this kind of is making us recall some things. So the reason why we're doing this, hopefully you're realizing, because we're going to be graphing tangent and cotangent today. So in order to do that, we're recalling some information we previously knew. And that information came from our unit circle. And this is something that we haven't used for a little while, that tangent is sine over cosine. And then remember the coordinate points go cosine, sine. So again, it starts at 0, it goes pi over 2, it goes pi, 3 pi over 2, and then 2 pi. So we're trying to figure out what the value of tangent is on each of those axes. So you're going to notice there's a very clear pattern and kind of a strange one that comes out of this. And so that's going to take us into our graphs of tangents, which are also strange. So.
Yeah.
Can I go home and sleep instead?
Okay. So pi over 2. The coordinate point is 0, 1. And remember, it goes sine over cosine, or y over x. So 1 over 0. So what's the tangent of pi over 2 going to be? It's going to be undefined. No. Now, on a graph, undefined technically doesn't show up, but what we think of it as is that asymptote. So like at pi over 2, there's going to be a straight up and down asymptote dividing our graph. How about at pi, what happens? Yeah, it's going to be 0 over -1, so what's that value then?
0.
It's 0 actually. So 0 divided by -1 is just 0. Alright?
John, calm down.
3 pi over 2. Undefined again.
What?
It's a math swear word.
Hey, don't say that. Stop. It's naughty.
Some of them weren't here for slope, dude.
I
didn't.
but when did you say it was a swear word?
He said the worst curse word in math possible. Undefined.
Can we watch that?
Yeah.
Not right now. Maybe.
The next one's 0. I'd rather.
The next
On
one
a
is-
break, we have to. On a break, we have to watch
Okay.
the whole. So
John and Erica probably haven't seen Slope Dude before.
Yeah, so we have to watch
Your
it.
mom.
John.
Can we watch the John Cena version?
Okay.
John Cena version?
There isn't a John Cena version.
Oh, we should watch that one.
How did
During a
you
break,
do
we
that?
should
Make
have just done
mullet.
you.
Because we were doing watch Slope Dude in geometry my freshman year, and then we wanted to watch a John Cena one.